As we wait, let me see who's on here. Zildjian, I'm gonna need you to unmute because I need to do your fluency. Where's it at? Can you see my screen, Zildjian?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay.
I can see it.
My
The
phone.
wordsmith.
Timer. Hold on.
It's called the wordsmith.
Are you ready? Zildjian,
Yes.
go ahead.
Yeah. I was only 3 years old when my parents discovered that I was a wordsmith, which is a person who is good with words. They could see and hear that I used hard words for my age. I was always asking what is the word for this, or why is a teapot called that? I can remember listening to my parents and brothers talk when I was young. They would have long conversations over dinner, and at first I would just listen, soaking up all the language at one dinner. My father used the word.
Just go past it. Keep going.
I had no idea what it meant, and when I asked, he said, "Sarah, you know where our dictionary is?" I couldn't wait to finish eating so I could look it up.
All right.
As soon as I learned how,
You're good. Good job. Let me see who else I need. It's on here. Y'all have all done it already. We're gonna finish up our science. Jacob still connecting audio. You think about it, today's kind of like Friday because we don't have school, or y'all don't have school on Friday. It's kind of like Friday. I think we're. Make sure, Antonio. Lies.
Oh, I was gonna say, what, who? I give everybody problems, right? Yeah. That's what you get. What? What are y'all arguing about? You had a good lunch, at least? Did you have a good lunch in your lunchroom?
Well, I kind of like wolfed it down because I have to go cafeteria, you know.
Yeah. Fifth grade, huh? Yours, that's why.
are we doing reading? Are we doing reading?
fucking all the way home. I'll have to call it. There you go. Get the top of me for fast. Maybe I can now. Got it. I got it.
I wish we had like a little kid to keep that. Yeah.
The kids are probably like, what are we doing? Now you're gonna spend all that time taking it off.
It's fashion. It's fashion. All right. Come by here later. Shall see. I buttoned my jacket all the way up. Do y'all like it?
What time's your break? 1:40?
Yeah, like 140.
Yeah.
I buttoned it all the way up.
Tell your friend I'll be back at 1:40 because she wanted to hear my story.
Okay.
Oh, cool, you guys
Hold on. Let me close the door a little bit. We gotta do that science video and that quiz. Then we'll kind of get to do something fun, I guess. Y'all probably won't think it's fun, but it is what it is. I can button my jacket up and a collar. Let's undo that. And re-recorded this whole thing. Okay. It gets hot. Whew. Anyways, can y'all see my screen or not?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're admiring my jacket.
I'm going to go in a second.
Oh yeah, you can go ahead and go, Michael.
No, she might be not on because the last time that I went early, she wasn't on.
Oh, okay. Okay, then go at like what, 12:33 maybe, 12:34? Just to give her some time. She might be running late. Let's watch that video. We have to pay attention because we need to take the quiz. Maybe we can skip ahead a little bit.
In there and didn't, okay, probably
here.
by car, but what direction would you, which roads would you travel? Okay, some of you may have said, I'd
Can't
Google
see
it.
that, Mr. Hernandez.
We can't? Okay, let me stop and let me share it again. Maybe because I made it full screen. How about now?
Yeah. Yeah, I can see it now.
Oh, if it plays.
One way, but say you don't have Google and you don't have a smartphone. What do? Maybe you set a map. Well, that's what I would use. I'd use a road map and follow it, and with a little luck, arrive at Disneyland. There you go. I also might need a compass. Now, scientists are always curious about the world and how everything works and why it works. And they are interested in inventing new things and making things that have already been invented even better. While scientists are doing their work of discovery and experimenting, they use a kind of roadmap. It's called the scientific method. The scientific method is a series of steps to perform to figure things out, to get to the bottom of things, to discover the answers to the questions of what and why and how things work, and to make them work better. Look at a light bulb, not an LED, but an incandescent light bulb, one that has a glowing filament. How do you think we got the light bulb?
Thomas
The
Edison.
light bulb was not invented by just one man. The development of the
And it took him 1,000 tries, wasn't it? Or something like that, or over 1,000 to get it to work.
light bulb took many years and many experiments.
Yeah, it took him a lot of times, over 1,000 for it to.
Ever. Can you imagine what it would be like if we did not have the light
He
bulb?
said that it took him over 5,000 times.
Christmas tree to make it glow through the night, and you would probably be tripping around in the dark if you didn't have a flashlight. And without the light bulb, you don't have a flashlight. The scientific method, when followed properly, can help you figure out the answers to some important questions. Let's look at the steps of the scientific method. Step number 1 is observation. If you're like a scientist, you are naturally curious about the world, aren't you? Maybe when you were younger, you were always asking adults questions like, why is the sky blue? What makes water freeze? What makes lightning? Why do my bicycle tires always go flat? What happens if I touch a hot stove? Hey, don't touch that. You'll burn your fingers. As you looked at the world around you and wondered about things, you were observing. Observation is the first step of the scientific method. Observation requires using one or more of the five senses. What are the five senses? Hearing, seeing, smelling, tasting, and touching or feeling. And then asking the questions or questions, why or how. Asking yourself these questions will lead you to the second step of the scientific method. The second step in the scientific method is to form an hypothesis
Michael, that's
is
fine.
an educated guess or a statement. Usually, your statement will go something like this. If I do this, fill in the blank, then I believe this, fill in the blank, will happen. You may not come up with the correct answer at first, but making a guess is a good start. Your guess needs to be able to be tested by other people. Yes, testing. Testing your hypothesis now leads you to the next step in the scientific method, which is to experiment. Experimentation is the third step in the process of the scientific method. This is the fun part. Your experiment may fail and may not support your guess or your hypothesis, or maybe it will. As you test your hypothesis through experiments, you will want to conduct your experiments carefully each time. If you don't get the desired response, you may have to slightly tweak or adjust one of the characteristics of your test. It takes great patience as you go through the experimental phase of the scientific method. Other people who want to test your guess or your hypothesis will need to conduct the experiment the exact same way. Regardless of the result of your experiment, it will lead you to a conclusion. Conclusion, the fourth step in the scientific method of discovery. Your conclusion may be that your experiment supported your hypothesis, which may lead to more questions, or your experiment did not support your guess, your hypothesis. In that case, you will need to conduct further experiments until you get a satisfactory answer, which may still lead to other observations as you continue your path of discovery through the scientific method. It's important to keep a notebook and keep a record of your findings as you follow the steps of the scientific method. Let's run through a simple exercise to see how using the scientific method can work. There are many areas in the U.S. where winters can be brutally cold. Water freezes at 0 degrees Celsius. That's 32 degrees Fahrenheit. And if it happens to rain, the water turns to ice and snow. That's great for sledding and boarding and skiing, but not so cool for drivers. And roads can be very treacherous and dangerous when they're icy and slick.
Whoa.
You may have seen snow removal trucks shoveling snow and spreading salt or sand on the highway to melt the ice. There is your observation. It looks like salt melts ice. But how much salt does it take to melt the ice? And how much salt does it take to prevent water from freezing? There is our step one, using the scientific method, our observation. Now on to step two, the hypothesis. We are going to make a guess. This might be our guess. If I use just a little salt, then the ice will melt. This could be our hypothesis. Or maybe you've come up with one on your own. There. Finished with step number 2. What's step number 3? Right. Experiment. We are going to test our hypothesis. Our experiment must be carefully planned. It must be able to be accurately repeated and be able to perform by someone else. Maybe this could be your experiment. We could use a plastic cup or a plastic bowl or a paper plate. Why are we going to use plastic? Because glass breaks. Glass is dangerous, guys. I am going to use a paper plate and put in some regular tap water. Next, place your cup or bowl or paper plate of water in the freezer and give it time for the water to turn to ice. Remove the ice from the freezer and sprinkle a little sodium chloride, also known as salt, onto the ice and observe. See if the ice begins to melt. How much salt did you use? How thick is your ice? Whatever you do, you will have to keep precise notes. A lot of notes. There is no limit to the number of notes and explanation to give to your experiment. And now, what would you do next? Well, maybe you would return your container to the freezer and see if the salty water refreezes. You can run your experiment any number of ways. More water, less water, more salt, less salt. At the end of each experiment, you can come up with a new conclusion. See if your experiment can be repeated and determine if the salt is an effective way to melt ice. The point is to follow each step in the scientific method until you reach an answer, an acceptable conclusion. Back to the light bulb.
Well, sometimes that's why science experiments take forever, because they have to keep going and going till they get good
Several men
results.
who took part in the development of the incandescent light bulb,
Thomas Edison.
Joseph Swan, Hiram Maxim, and Thomas Edison. It was Thomas Edison that developed a practical, long-lasting bulb. Thomas Edison tried 1,000 different ways to make an acceptable filament. When he was asked how it felt to fail so many times, Thomas Edison replied, "Well, I had not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Now that's the attitude to have. All right then, go to it. Observe things, hypothesize, experiment, conclude, invent things. Make this world a better place. You were born to do it. And now while you're at it, check out the Clarendon Learning Activity page for more great experiments using the scientific method. Thanks for following Clarendon Learning. Be sure to subscribe. If you're looking for more teaching resources, check us out at clarendonlearning.org.
All right, log into your Canvas and go to your science tile. Let's log into Canvas and go to your science tile. Come on. Log into science and go to your science tile. So your science tile. Come on. We're taking that quiz. We'll do it together so we can pass. So we can pass.
Which quiz?
So go to your science and it's going to say watch and learn experimental design 2. Make sure you're on experimental design 2. Let me see.
On the science, it's okay.
Here, let me see. Let me move it up so that y'all can, it'll be the first thing there. Let me move it.
On modules, right?
Hold on. I was going to move it up so that y'all could see it if you, it would be the first thing under there. Modules, yeah, under modules, and it should be the, let me move it. Let me move it to the top.
Is it a Nearpod?
No, it's not a Nearpod. It's just going to say watch and learn experimental design. And it's got the rocket ship. It should be the first thing under the module. It says 1.7.
It's in lesson 2. I found it.
Make sure it's experimental design 2. Otherwise, you're not going to be on the right one.
Experiment design 2. I found it.
Yep. Watch and learn. It's got the rocket ship. I think it's the only one that has the rocket ship. Yeah, see it? Yeah, it's the first one, and it's got the rocket ship. Make sure you're on the one with the rocket ship.
Miss Hernandez, I sent in something to you in the chat.
Okay, Audrina. Haven't heard from you in a minute. Perfect. But remember, we don't have school next week, so you should have plenty of time to work on it.
Wait, why don't we have school next week?
It's an inner session.
What does that mean?
Hold on. I got a mint in my mouth. It's like a break.
But why? We missed so much of school. Like for the. But
Hold on.
is it like for something, or is it just because?
Well, since we're going to school for a longer period of time now, we have breaks, like an extra break or two during the school year.
Oh, since we're like gonna stay longer this time.
Mm-hmm. Since we started earlier and we kind of end later, there's breaks. And it's also there too for some kids that need to catch up a little bit, that might need extra help. Some people might have to come to I guess like a few days of school next week. And then how some of y'all have missed school maybe and y'all want to catch up. Next week you're still going to have your assignments that you can catch up on if you need to, even though we're not in school. Most of y'all have been here and done most of the assignments, but there's a few people that have missed and need to catch up. But for the most part, it's a break. Since we were going to school, we started a lot earlier. Well, not a lot earlier, but we started a few days earlier than what we normally do, like a couple of weeks, and then we go like another week or two longer after we normally would. So you have like 2 intersessions. I think you have one next week, and then you have one like in the spring sometime, I think. But did y'all find it? Watch and learn experimental design?
I'm not on it yet.
Okay. RJ, if you need to get off, you can get off and do it and then come back. Antonio, make sure you're doing this quiz with us. Okay. 'Cause I want to do it together because I think you only have 2 tries. See if we can pass it. Pass. Did y'all find it?
Yeah.
And while we're sitting here waiting for y'all, RJ to find it, some of y'all will be back to school. Ooh, Adrian's not here, is he? He's not. Some of y'all will be back to school after the intersession. Trying to think. I know Mariah's gonna be back, right? That I know of?
I'm going back.
Yeah, I think.
My cousin already went back the other day.
Really? What's her name?
Michaela.
Kayla? I know her teacher. Chloe, I think, is coming back.
I
Chloe?
believe she's in the sim grade.
Yeah, I think so. Jacob will be back. I think that's it that I know of so far.
Since she lives really close to me, so since she's going on the bus, I'm gonna go with her with the bus.
Cool. Yeah.
My mom says I go back to school on October 5th.
Yeah, Jacob will be back. Chloe with the K. Mariah. I think
So will my brother.
yeah, there's a few of y'all. Not very many of y'all that are on right
He's
now.
already in middle school, so he'll be in middle school.
That I know of right now. I don't know unless something changes over the next few days, but
He's in Hamlin.
I know a few of y'all will be back. Are y'all looking forward to coming back to school?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am.
On the first day of school, I wanted to meet you in person, but I realized because of Corona, I couldn't.
It's
Yeah.
more excited. This one we were just like,
I think it's better. I think it's
and it's not gonna be as exciting still if we meet you in October because we already know you.
yeah, and it won't be too bad. I mean, there won't be too many of y'all. There'll be like 7 or 8 of y'all in here, anyways. There won't be too many yet, unless something changes. But did y'all find it?
Well, in the summer, I made some creative things by myself.
I think it'll be better for some of y'all too to be back in class. Some of y'all will learn better in class. Can y'all see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you on the quiz? What is the first step in the scientific method is experiment, hypothesize, observe, or conclusion? Who thinks they know? Who thinks they know what the first step of the scientific method is? Go look over there on the green chart. What's the first? You might be able to see.
Observation.
Is that what it is, Antonio? Observation. Yeah, we have like a chart up back there. Yeah. Observation. You make your observation, and you form your hypothesis, and then you've got to test it out, and then you come to your conclusion. Number 2, the steps in a scientific method are used to carry out a science experiment, see how many times it takes to solve something, find answers to questions or problems, are used to find answers to scientific laws. That one's a hard one. Why would you do a science experiment?
I would say to see how many times it takes to solve something.
Wait, somebody else said something. What was that? You're breaking up so bad, Zildjian. I wouldn't say it would be how many times to solve something. I would try again. Why else would we do a science experiment?
I think I would use that to find answers or questions.
Yeah.
or problems.
That's what I was about to say.
So what was that, Natalie?
To find answers or
To
problems.
questions or problems.
Bingo. That's usually why you do it, because you have questions. You're like, oh, I want to see how far this car can roll if it's got weight on it, or I want to see if this type of car rolls faster than this type of car. Because you've got questions, or you have problems maybe. Good job. So yeah, it would be, what was that, C? Ooh, Antonio might be able to help us with the next one. Number 3, the last step in the scientific method is the hypothesis, conclusion, observation, or experiment.
Experiment.
Nope. Antonio's going to help us because he has a chart. I should have made y'all write it down. I think it's a red one, right? What's it start with? Conclusion. After you formed your hypothesis, you tested it in an experiment, then you come to your conclusion about what happened during an experiment. Conclusion. I conclude. Think of conclusion as like the very end. So even when you're writing in a story, you might say, in conclusion, my vacation was awesome because I got to bring my 3 best friends with me. Conclusion's like at the end. What else? What's the next one say, Natalie? That you're awake.
It says, question 4, right?
Yep.
Okay, so you have to use all of your 5 senses to help you come up with an observation or a problem in science. True or false?
True or false?
It's true because it said that in a video that you need to use your 5 senses.
It says you have to use your 5 senses, but do they help you come up with an observation in science?
Well, you can't use them all because they can be dangerous.
Okay.
Yeah, taste.
So then you wouldn't use all your 5. That's kind of like a trick one. So you wouldn't use it, right? So that would be false, right?
Yeah, because you can't taste them. You can't. Maybe some are so dangerous that you can't even smell them.
Because you also learn those in science safety.
Yeah, if you're working with chemicals and you're doing an experiment, you're not going to use your taste because you know it's not good, and then you might not also even use touch because it might be like acid or something that could burn.
Or smell because it might be so dangerous that you can't even smell.
So yeah, you wouldn't use all of them. See, there you go. Way to think about that. I really thought about that one.
Everyone's so quiet.
No, an educated guess or a statement is a what? Ooh, y'all should know this. If you remember anything from
Hypothesis?
Yeah, if you remember anything.
Yeah, hypothesis.
If you remember anything from science, it's probably hypothesis. This is like the only one I know.
Thank you.
All experiments must be reproduced or duplicated.
All experiments must be able to reproduce or duplicate
Oh, that was
by
a vocabulary word, wasn't it? Duplicated?
Mm-hmm.
Experiments
it's
be reproduced or
false.
duplicated by other scientists at any point.
It's false.
So think about that. All experiments must be able to be reproduced or duplicated by other scientists at any point.
Well, it doesn't have to be duplicated.
But what if you want to what if somebody wants to test that out to make sure that the experiment is true? Wouldn't it need to be duplicated or reproduced or done again?
Yeah, but like, what if it?
But it says all experiments must. I mean, like you don't have to. Plus, it says all experiments must be able.
Yeah.
So
it has. Yeah, because what if someone wants to do it, but you did it in like secret or something? I don't know. Like, they have to be.
They have to. So you're saying true is what you're saying, right?
Yes.
So Natalie is on to a good thing. She says yes, because what if somebody is lying in their experiment? Shouldn't you be able to go back and test that same experiment to make sure it is true or false?
Like, what about, look at it like this. If you have your favorite candy and someone put it out, like the directions, wouldn't you want to try it?
Yeah.
To see if it works?
So if you tell me I created this experiment and I made pigs fly, I should be able to go find all of my resources to test that experiment out again, because I want to see if that's really true. Pigs really do fly. Shouldn't I be able to reproduce that or duplicate it at any given point in time and day or year? So what would that be, Natalie? True?
True.
I agree, because if you tell me pigs fly, you did an experiment and your pigs flew, I want to be able to go reproduce that same experiment to see if you're telling the truth, because I'm probably not going to believe you if you tell me pigs fly. Just throwing that out.
The next one.
Next one.
Okay. Your hypothesis must be proven correct for your experiment to considered successful.
So, if I created the hypothesis, if I give my pig an extra serving of food, he's gonna fly. Is that gonna happen?
No.
So my hypothesis is probably not always gonna be correct, right? That's why you have experiments. So if I hypothesize that
if you say like, okay, I think rocks come from the tree.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
That's your
you
hypothesis.
stand at the tree for a day and a half, and a rock doesn't come down. It doesn't come from the tree.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that would be considered false.
Exactly. So you're saying question 7 would be false? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Because your hypothesis isn't always true or successful. That's why you test things probably multiple times. Because maybe you come up with a hypothesis and it's not true, and then you try again and maybe it becomes true, or your experiment is successful a different way. 8. Data is the steps you follow in your experiment. Information collected during your experiment. Not necessary.
You can't see number 8 because you're still on number 6.
Oh, beans and cheese. What do we say?
True.
True, and then this one was false, right? Yes.
Yep.
Wait. Yeah. Data is blank. Not necessary in every experiment. Information collected during your experiment. The conclusion you draw in your experiment. The steps you follow in your experiment. Data. We talked about data.
It's information collecting during your experiment. Because data altogether is information.
Bingo!
And you need that for a certain thing.
Bingo! You would have like 8 candies already after yesterday and the day before that.
You need data, like maybe if you need data to see how much calories you ate or how much pound of sugar you ate.
Exactly. You need that information. Just like I said, I'm collecting data on your testing to see how y'all are doing and see what we need to go back and work on, which I think with math,
It is
number 9. Ooh, testing your hypothesis is the point of the following step in the scientific method: experiment, data, observation. So when do you test your hypothesis? During which step? The experiment, the data, the observation, or the conclusion?
The experiment?
You're at 9 now. Keeping tally. You're at 9. 1, 2, 3. That's why you have an experiment, because you're testing your hypothesis.
yeah. Okay, so if salt is put on frozen water, then it will not melt on frozen water. So basically an ice cube.
Is this statement an example of a hypothesis in the scientific method? So can we test this out?
Yes, we can.
So then it is an example of a hypothesis, correct?
Yes, and just to be clear, it does melt.
Does it? I don't know. I wish I had some salt and ice. I'm going to try to find some. I'm tempted.
Okay, do we submit quiz?
Yeah, I'm tempted. Maybe during our break, I'll go try to find some in a few minutes. We'll test it out. I know there's ice and I can find some salt. We'll test it out. We'll come back and test it out. Hopefully you got 100.
Yes, we did.
Did we?
Yes.
Okay. This is what we're going to do now. This one, I guess it could be fun. Okay, y'all can see my screen, right? Okay. What? I'm going to type in, this is not y'all. abcya.com.
ABC, yeah.
My brother plays that a lot.
Yes, I want y'all to get on there right now and go to grade 4. We're not doing math either.
But what time do we come back?
No. We're doing it right now. ABC and go to 4th grade. It's ABC YA. I'll put it up here big so you can see it.
I got it.
What was number 8?
It was B, information collected during your experiment. I think it was B. Information collected during your experiment. Look for that one. Hold on. Let me load this so y'all can see. A, B, C, yeah. Some of y'all already know what that is because y'all have siblings that use it.
I don't.
What was 9 and 10 again? It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Wait, what was 9 and 10 again?
9 was experiment, and then 10 was true.
I've been doing ABC yacht like my little cousin been doing like my niece. She's been doing ABC yacht since kindergarten. Now she's in 1st grade.
All right, y'all can see ABC is what we're going to. Okay.
Yeah, I did that. How do we get to that? I started playing that since I was in kindergarten.
Okay, up there you have another tab. You need to open another tab and go to, when it pops up in there, click ABC Ya. If you need help, share. I can.
ABC Ya.
Go to 4th grade and click on letters. I think it was, right?
Okay.
No, not letter. Yes, letters and then parts of speech.
Huh?
Click on the second. You can do nouns, verbs. You can kind of do anything on there, I guess.
Yeah. Whenever I was in kindergarten, I would always do the spelling and I always do the ice cream talk. I don't get it.
Did y'all find it? ABCR, or somebody needs help? Who needs help?
Me. I need help.
Okay. You gotta open a new tab for one on your computer screen. Up top, you gotta open a new tab.
Okay.
Did you open one, Chloe?
Yes.
Type in abcya.com up there.
Okay.
And then it should pop up like my screen. Who else needed one? Mariah, was it you?
Yes. Because
Open a new tab.
do I put abc.com learning games and apps for free for kids?
Yes. Perfect.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Letters.
What do I put in? Ice cream talk. I can't believe we're on our ABCs.
I know.
I already know my.
Now go to letters. We're doing parts of speech. I'm gonna play the game too. I like games.
Oh my God! There's a little monster. Is there any Schwartz?
What'd you put?
I used to play that one in kindergarten. It's called Ice Cream Talk. It's so fun.
Not bad.
I haven't played it for 2 years.
Mariah, did you find it? You gotta open it.
I haven't played this game 4 years. Heidelberg board. This all makes sense. Four straight years. 100 snowballs. Oh, this is that. Word cloud. I'll do word clouds.
I don't know how to log into the game.
I remember this. Oh my God.
Hold on, y'all mute yourselves. Jacob, you need to open a new tab and go to abcya.com.
I did.
Okay, now you're gonna go to click on the 4, and then it should pop up with letters. You should see. Mariah, did you
I
open
clicked on the 4.
4, and then up top it should say letters, numbers, holiday, strategy, skill. Click on letters.
Letters?
Yes.
It says I have to log in and do an email.
You shouldn't have to.
I just downloaded it.
You shouldn't have to. It should just pop up and say that you have.
Which one did we go to? Anyone?
Yeah, you can go to any one of those. Mariah, did you find it?
Yes.
You did?
I haven't played this in like really.
Okay, well I'm gonna give y'all like 35 minutes to play it. So.
Wait, but it's not letting me.
Who?
It says I have to put an email or phone. Like
Let me see.